Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, my lovely listeners, and welcome to another episode of The Social Circus. Today I have a fantastic guest, the wonderful Jen, who runs a business called JenBe Brands and has an amazing course called Bring Back Your Pink. Now, Jen is a personal brand strategist, mentor, and a creator of flamazing brands that stand out like a flamingo in a flock of seagulls. I think that intro should tell you we're going to have some juicy stuff today. She helps midlife women in business rediscover their confidence, amplify their presence, and build brands that feel unmistakably them. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you so much for having me. I have my brand new flamingo dress on specifically for today.
Oh, I love that.
Right today. I'm like, it had to be worn.
Your intro tells us all about how beautiful and vibrant you are. And I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you get to see Jen. But if you're just listening, I feel like a grey seagull next to Jen's beautiful, vibrant face. Now, Jen, I'm so excited because we were gossiping so much before we hit record. Please tell my lovely listeners, what inspired you to start your business? Because I know that you have been on a big personal journey.
Oh my gosh. So long story short, my background is as a graphic designer, and I knew when I was 10 years old, that's what I wanted to do. And I never really deviated from that. So, straight from school at 17 into design school, out of design school, straight into work. And I've always loved design. I sort of moved on into logo design, but realized there was so much more to it than just designing a logo. A brand is so much more than a logo.
Yes.
And had my own business on and off, wasn't working, got divorced, had to start another business, bought out my ex-husband from our home because I built up a business. And that's kind of when I realized that, we as women can actually do whatever the heck we want. And it was a real eye-opener for me. It's like, yeah, I can get the biggest mortgage that my mortgage broker had ever got for a single woman. Anybody can do this. So, yeah, it was a very, very liberating moment. So, life went on. The great financial crash came. A lot of my clients closed down, like their businesses went bust. And I kind of, not followed on. But as a single mum, I'm like, I need to go get a job.
Yeah.
So I was working, and then I got a job as a corporate brand designer, and I was made redundant at 52.
That's fun.
And I'm like, this is the end of my world. I'm too old to do anything else. Oh my gosh, I might as well just pack up shop, sit by the fire in my slippers and knit. Can't knit. Don't wear slippers because gang gets all over them. But then it was this. Yeah, that was my logic. I'm like, this, I'm done. I'm over. But I did have a side hustle at the time, and I was working with some really amazing business coaches who said, Jen, maybe you should not think that way. You've got all those years of experience. I think you need to strike out and do your own thing. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm too old. Nobody's going to want to listen to me. I'm invisible. And they're like, no, you should really do this. So I listened to them. Thank God I listened to them and moved into doing my own thing. As a brand strategist, I discovered brand personalities, which was an absolute game changer for me. And it's like it gave me permission to step into my power of my brand. I am a magician creator, so I transform, but I'm also, colorful and creative. It was the perfect combination for me. And I didn't choose that. It chose me. I was always that. So moving on, I built a beautiful business. I had amazing clients. I had a course that was selling out. It was awesome. But there was something missing, and I didn't know what that was. It was like, I just don't feel like this is where I'm meant to be right now. And I followed somebody called Anita Siak from Word Fetty. I'm not sure if,
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she was talking about her mastermind and also being a magician. I'm very intuitive. And it was like, I need to do that. I'm like, hang on, you've decided to take a few months off work, Jen. That's probably not the best thing to jump into, a mastermind. I'm like, no, you need to do that. I'm like, okay, you do that, Jen.
Mhm.
And the first call blew my mind apart. And she talked about subjective language. not the subjective language that we think of, but the language that we are subject to. And and that makes us believe what they say. Now that my whole life it made sense after finding out about that. It was always like, why did I want to hide? Why did I always wear black? Because, Jennifer, black is so flattering on you. That's from my mum. I'm plus size, so we should always wear black. And these are the things we do without even realizing it. So it made me realize that for all those years, I had been dimming down my sparkle, trying to be who I thought I should be, and that there was something so much more out there for me. So I went on a 12-month journey of hypnotherapy and, visualizations, working also with Anita. And we're on a bus in Bali in November of 2022. And she said to me, Jen, you need to do something with midlife women. I'm like, yeah, I do. But I'm not done here yet. Like I'm not there.
Yeah.
And so I had to do more work on myself. I rebranded, came out from hiding behind a business name to being JenBe Brands, and, really stepped into the power towards the middle of last year. I realized, I just really want to help midlife women regain their lives, get their power back, stop hiding, stop being invisible, stop being weighed down by societal expectations and generational trauma. So I started working with branding with midlife women, and then I went, there's more than this. There is more than this, because without a strong mindset, we can't have a strong brand.
Yes.
Because there's so much that holds us back. Beginning of last year, I had to do some inner child work, because it turned out my inner child was literally stopping me from doing what I wanted to do. Didn't know why. I just kept getting sick. Every time I wanted to record this course, I was sick. I'm like, this is so weird. We have so many blocks as middle-aged women that we don't know about. And it's not because, my mum was my biggest cheerleader, but she was doing what she thought she should do.
Yes. And got her good girl conditioning to work with.
Exactly. And then, we moved into that and we lived that. And it's so interesting the way I brought up my own daughter. She's 27 now, brought her up to be whoever she wanted to be, to step into her power, to not be stopped by what, society expects of her. And God bless her, she's walked her own path since she was like 5 years old. So, which is amazing.
Job, Mum.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's so good when you grow a human and you look at them when they're grown up and you went, I did a good job there, because she's a human. So that comes to Bring Back Your Pink, my new program, which is for midlife women, which weaves mind, brand, self, and business together to make the one thing. Because without all those things, we can live in a grey world, and we don't want that. We want to be full of color, whatever color you like. I might say, if beige is your color that makes you happy, wear the beige. Don't let anyone tell you, talk negatively about beige brands and whatever. If that's how you are, if you're neutral, that's all good.
Yes.
I just want to say that, because it's all right for me, because people go, it's easy for you. You've got pink hair. I'm like, yeah, but that's my thing. Just because it's my thing doesn't mean you won't have other amazing differentiators. Let's look at Taryn, who's not midlife, but the way from the Social Bolt, the way she talks about Harry Potter, and she has dogs. These are the differentiators. They don't have to be pink hair and flamingos.
Yes, I know.
That's subtle.
And I think that I'm so excited for this conversation. I just want to share with the listeners. I've had a little bit of a fangirl moment, because I've followed Jen on socials, and I think I might have heard you on Tracy's Mums with Hustle. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Yes, which I follow her. Yes, and I kind of just thought I'm really attracted to your brand, and I really love what you do. And I thought, I'm just going to DM her and have a chat and get you on my podcast, because I think people need to hear what you have to say. And meeting Jen, she's everything that I hoped she would be, because you are where many of us would like to be with who we are in terms of our mindset and our journey and our growth. And I feel like for many of us women in our midlife, it is such like shifting sands. There's so many parts of it that are so like, oh, I'm in the thick of it. I have a 19 and a 17-year-old.
Yep.
And everything changes. I wake up every minute and they throw something new at me. I'm like, oh, again, I just want to just breathe for a minute. And all of that, and working out who I am now that I'm not a mum with school kids, and who I am in my relationship with my husband, and all of this stuff all bumps up against, I'm trying to run a business here, by the way. Can we just back off the rest of the stuff?
Yeah. This is so true. And this is actually you talking even about your relationship with your husband.
Mm.
The kids get older, they go off to do their own things. And sometimes, and I mean, I'm sure it's not the case with you, and it's not, I have remarried from my first narcissistic husband, to an amazing man. But, when the kids go, you're like, sometimes people look at each other and go, well, I don't like you now. That's why there's so much midlife divorce. And that's one thing that really drives me as well, is the highest instance of homelessness in women is 55 plus.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, the kids fly the coop. We give up so much of our, superannuation and things when we are raising the kids, that is why these days, these instances of homelessness are so high. So that's another reason I'm so passionate about helping midlife women actually build these businesses, that are going to sustain them if life is not the fairy tale, which, was like with my divorce, but I was 36 back then.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a lot harder at 52 because we have those mindset shifts that like, well, who wants to listen to us? We're old. Who wants to, nobody's going to pay attention to us. How am I going to stand out? How do I stand out in all the online noise? I'm sure you hear that from some of your ladies.
Oh, so much. And even your comments saying, I'm 52, I'm done and I've got nothing left. And I hear women say that all the time. And I'm like, there's so much to give. And I feel it in myself the older I get. So I turned 50 last year, and the older I get, the more I feel like I like myself, I'm comfortable with myself. And then I feel like I can share from a really great place. But if we kind of give up, then I feel like what a waste of wisdom that is. And what a waste. We have so much to give and share.
So much to give. But see, it's interesting you say that, because at 50, I hated myself. I actively hated myself. Very long story. That goes back to the inner child thing. I literally hated myself most of my life. And it was a big learning curve to come out of that, to actually go, you know what? You're okay. You're okay the way you are. Your flamboyance and love of color and fun is actually what makes you you. And for all those years, you hid that because you didn't want to stand out. You didn't want to be seen. You wanted to be invisible. And, the conditioning we have in childhood plays a very big part in who we are in midlife. It blows my mind. It truly blows my mind.
I'm sitting here and I have to say, Jen, I'm struggling to comprehend it, because you're just this beautiful, confident woman with all this vibrancy. And I'm like, hey, go her. She's always done loads of work, because that is not who we see now.
And done loads of work.
And so you're a walking testimony of your program, the Bring Back Your Pink, because I look at you and I'm like, I want that. I want what she's studying.
That's why I developed it, because I'm like, if I can do this, anyone can. Anybody can do this. So I've literally put together my journey.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. And I've got people coming in that I've worked with.
Yeah.
So I've got for each month, I've actually got my hypnotherapist and group trauma counselor coming in to it, because this is not going to be an easy journey necessarily. We will have lots of fun along the way, but it's also, there's going to be things come up that people may not be prepared for or ready for. But that's where I've got the gorgeous Jess Reed coming in to actually, each month we'll work through by visualizations, EFT, hypnotherapy, what we've learned that month to help us resolve it. Because we can learn these things, but if we don't work on them, we're going to sneak back in to that mindset. It's literally every day you've got to work on it, going, okay, I'm not going to slink back into that. And even now, doing something that's really new and different for me, every now and then, the mean girl comes in and says, who do you think you are to do that? You're not a therapist. You're not a psychologist. Who are you to do that? It's like, well, hang on a second. One, I'm going to listen to you for 30 seconds. Because she comes in, open the door. She comes in. Well, I don't open the door. She opens the door. She comes in and listen to her for 30 seconds, give her the time, and then say, all right, I'm done listening to you. And I open the door and she goes out. Like I push her out that door. I'm like, yeah, goodbye. Very powerful visualization. And that works really well for me. But it's every day. It's every day.
I always make a joke about mindset that it's like the Amnesty International's "it takes eternal vigilance." I feel like mindset is like that.
You know what? That is the perfect description. It really is.
Because you think you're all over it and you think like, oh, I'm so nailed this and I'm like rocking it. And then something happens and you're just like, oh, I just feel like myself shrink away. And you think, I thought we'd done that. I thought we'd sorted that. And like you say, she lets herself in the room whenever she sees a crack, and you have to just send her on her way. And it's and I also think, like, having been in business for quite a long time, if someone had said to me, because I was in a successful corporate marketing for like nearly 15 years before I started my business, if someone had said to me, if you want to go on a big journey of self-discovery, start a business, I'd be like, what? I'm just going in to teach people how to do marketing because that's what I've always done. And I never imagined that it would be all of the mindset, all of the money blocks, all of the things you have to work on. I don't think I would have believed you if you told me that, because I'd been like, no, I'm just going to do marketing. It's going to be great.
Insane, isn't it? It is this journey. And, we evolve and we change. And, just putting my branding hat on for a little minute. That's the thing. Like, as a brand, we evolve and we change constantly, because back in, 2021, I was branding, logo design. I don't do logo design anymore. Still do brand strategies, but only for midlife women now.
Yeah, I love that.
Just keep evolving and changing. And I'm such a big believer that business should be fun. You should love what you do. You should be passionate about it, and you should build your business to design your life as such. And I mean, a prime example was this morning. I had plans for today. I get a phone call about 9:15 from my son-in-law. He's like, Jen, I've had an accident. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? He's like, I was running and I ran into a tree. I'm like, I don't want to know how you did that. But anyway, when I got there, I did. But anyway, he was like, there was blood everywhere, and he was like, not semi-conscious, but he was a bit all over. Like,
yeah.
Right. I'm in my 90 on the side of the road. I'm like, come on, we'll get you in the car. And I said, we'll go home. And then I just took him to ER. And I got home about 5:55 before I had a call. Now, I've designed my business so I can actually do that. Like, I can shift things around, I can move it. And I'm so grateful for that. Because, when we're on Instagram, we've kind of deviated from the subject a bit. But I think this is a really...
Me to it. Keep going.
We see all the glamour.
Yes.
Of the entrepreneurs and the, people that are living all over the world doing amazing things. It's like, well, I'm not doing that. But you know what? I've designed my life that I get to stay home and look after my sick cat, who has lived probably a good 2 years longer than he should have. And I still reckon he's got a good 18 months left in him, to be able to drop everything and go to my son-in-law and help him and sit at the hospital with him. Because he's got a 10-centimeter gash on his head, and he's still there. His mum came and took over. He's still there. I don't know if he'll be home tonight. I'm pretty sure he's got concussion. But how am I that I could do that?
Yes. And I'd be sorry, hun.
I don't know. I think we're both so excited to talk.
I was going to say, I've intentionally built my business. I started it when my boys were preschool, and obviously they're now baby adults. And I look back at the things that I did, and when my youngest finished school last year, I said to my husband, we did this, because my husband works with me in our business, and I said, we did this. Right. This is what we set out to do. We set out to be present, to take our children to and from school, to attend their functions and all of the swimming and all of the things. And we did it, and have school holidays. And I can't tell you how nice it feels, because I was raised by a single mum who worked a lot and did she was just hanging on. Yeah.
That was me. That was fun.
I look and I think, we certainly made sacrifices. I'm sure I could have built a bigger business if I had made less time for my children, but it's done now. Like, they're grown-ups now, and I don't get to kind of go, hey, does anyone want to ride to school, because I drive? And so those moments pass, and I really feel like if you're in the business and building a business, build the business that you love. I can't emphasize that enough, that I get up each morning so excited for the beautiful conversation to get to have with women like you. And it's so exciting. I do want to talk because I'm conscious of time and I could talk to you all day. Let's talk about bring back your pink, because that makes me all kinds of excited, because I'm a pink girl. My branding's all pink. So
so fun flamingo fact. Flamingos, when they're actively parenting and they're not eating properly and they're stressed out and they're, just not looking after themselves, they fade and they lose their pink. When their babies fly the nest or leave the nest, they get their pink back. Yeah. So considering my branding tagline is flamingo and a flock of seagulls, this was like a no-brainer.
heck
And
yes, I love it.
yeah, and I want it to be, I feel like, for me, it's like there's going to be this movement, of women in midlife bringing back their pink, living their best lives. I know best life sounds like a cliche, but living the lives that we love, whether that be staying at home with our cat, staying at home with the grandkids, or traveling around the world, whatever makes you happy. That's the thing. And so many of us fade, and I was faded. That was me. I turned 50 and I'm like, this is done. It's all over. And little did I realize that the best was yet to come.
Oh my goodness. Woo. I feel like that's a really natural point for us to take a break. But Jen, I can't tell you how excited I was to have this conversation with you. I can't tell you the words of wisdom that you share, how much they mean to me, how generous you are. And to all my listeners, I hope that you are as enamored with Jen as I am, because as a woman in midlife who has felt all of those things that she talks about, it is so important that we do that work on ourselves. We don't just build a brand or a business, we build our mindset and we build our confidence. So thank you, Jen, for being the woman that you are in the world, because we need you and we need you to keep showing up. So thank you for coming on my podcast today. It means the world to me.
Thank you for having me. I was delighted to be here. I love talking about this. You can tell it's my passion.
Yes.
I'm so excited for what the future holds for so many midlife women out there. That's a thing. And I want to be up front, like leading all these women into this amazing second chapter.
I love it. Thank you, Jen. And to all of my listeners, if you want to connect with Jen and check out her program to bring back your pink, all of the links will be in the show notes. And you can do what I do and just stalk her on Instagram until she gives you lots of love.
I love a good chat. I love a good voice DM.
Yes, I'm a voice DM girl all the way. Thank you, my lovely listeners, for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed today as much as I have. Remember, the Social Circus comes out every Wednesday, so you can pick up your new episode each and every week. But thank you again, Jen, for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.